Good morning. Oh, happy Wednesday, everybody. Hump day. Welcome to Just for Today. Hope. Instead of um, wishing for hope, do we work on our hope, right? So if it's so important, so priceless, this hope, it's more valuable than any precious jewel. Why are we not doing our due diligence to protect it? Just for today. Let's talk about that this morning. Guard it, develop a plan, right? Hope. Good morning. Let me know you're out there. Let me know what you think about this. Just for today is a slogan in the rooms where we take something that we think about, we hear about, whether it's from me or somebody on the chat this morning around something we may want to add to our recovery, right? Add to our recovery. Good morning, Stephanie. Glad to see you're on. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. But yeah, hope. Just got through with an amazing training with a bunch of amazing recovery champions, right? And this is a peer support training. Folks who want to be peer support specialists. Yeah, thank you. Miss you on Monday too. We were off Monday. PRN was closed Monday in honor of Juneteenth. And I failed to say anything about that the Friday before. It just slipped my mind as well. So yeah, I missed you guys too. Good morning, Cedric. Cedric was one of my champions that I got to spend the 40 hours with. The week before and into this week. And it was an amazing training. And it was amazing to be there with Cedric, my colleague, as well as a dear, precious person who's been in my life for a long time. But hope. We talked about hope being the first pathway to recovery. There's 5 that we honor in recovery. And the first one was hope. And I got to thinking last night, I said, well, if hope is so friggin' important, good morning, Darlene. Good morning, Kim. I don't hear any people really talking about how they protect their hope. We talk about how we protect our children. We talk about how we protect our loved ones, how we protect our money, our investments. But I want to have a conversation this morning about how do you protect your hope, right? How do you do that? And how it's important to you, right? So let's talk a minute about hope. We throw that word around, right? I hope for has been in our vocabulary since we were little, right? I hope Santa brings me. Good morning, Darlene. Yeah, I hope Wednesday hurry ups and gets done so I can come home or whatever we say. I can't wait to hope my vacation is amazing. I hope that all kind of things, right? So we throw this word around a lot and it can lose its meaning. In recovery, hope takes on a whole different meaning. So in recovery, instead of wishing for something to happen, like we tend to do in our everyday life, hope is solid. Hope is concrete evidence. Concrete evidence. Hope is our foundation, okay? That something will happen. We will cover. We will find our hopes and our dreams. We will live our best life. Hope always allows people to approach the challenges of life with a positive, here's the word, mindset. It's a choice, right? A feeling of despair for certain things to happen, right? Despair, excuse me. A feeling of desire for something to happen, right? Hopelessness is the opposite of hopeful or having hope. In recovery, until we find hope, many, or most of us do not choose to walk that way, right? So if hope is so big, why are we not taking better care of our hope? Let me know what you think about this. It's so priceless. It's more valuable than any precious jewel for those of us in recovery. So why are we not doing our due diligence to protect it, to guard it, develop a plan around it so it doesn't slip away? Just for today, how are you protecting your hope? Do you claim hope? Do you know what it's like to be hopeless? Like really hopeless? Do you know what it's like to not be living your best life? Right? I remember going to my first recovery 12-step meeting. Yeah. I remember I had my notebook. I had bought some literature, you know. I was that little studious person. I was terrified. I was also very ashamed that I was so tired. You see, I'm on the family side of the disease of addiction, diagnosed with PTSD, diagnosed with all kind of little things, but not really a diagnosis of codependency. It's not really a diagnosis, but it's serious stuff. And counselors or therapists recognize the traits in me in that and had long conversations with me about how dangerous codependency can be. So I remember feeling still ashamed going into my first meeting. I was ready to be done. I was so ready to be done with that life. I was so tired. I was tired of sitting up waiting. I was tired of driving around looking for my loved one. I was tired of fighting all those things, right? It played a toll in my life. But I remember going to that meeting. I didn't realize on that first day that recovery would be a process. See, nobody had really explained that to me in a way that I could hear it at that time. And I wouldn't get better with that one notebook. It turns out that I scribbled through dozens and dozens and still scribbling through dozens of journals, notebooks before even tapping on the door of freedom. And throughout all of these journals, I will tell you there was a theme, and the theme was hopeless until I was hopeful. So hope is the first of the pathways to recovery. Those of you who are peer support specialists, you know this, right? We study this, we talk about this, and there is skills that we learn as peer support specialists. It is not just because we have lived experience, but that we are able to understand recovery. We understand how to be effective as peer supports and to learn our role, what it is and what it's not. Oh, good morning, Debbie. So glad you're on. Good morning, beautiful. Oh, you are so sweet. I love you. Roberta, glad to see you are on as well. But yeah, it is a skill set. And one of the things we have to learn is why. What are the things that we have to recognize in recovery, even people in recovery, so we can be effective? We have a short period of time to really help people, right? Short period of time, a lot of times, to really show that recovery is probable. So hope is the first of those pathways that we continuously talk about at our agency. Right? We can talk about it. There are periods of our life growing up that we had hope, we were hopeful. But for whatever reasons, in our unwellness, in our traumas, we lost it. We lost hope. So if it's easy to lose, why are we not protecting it, right? We say that without hope, the other pathways to recovery don't really matter because there's 4 other ones that we study, we learn skills around, we work with people around that build a great foundation in recovery. So if hope is so stinking important, Why are we not talking more about how we maintain it? Losing hope can happen in a split second. It can. Our day can start out magical. No worries in the world. One accident away, one getting a pink slip at work away, one diagnosis of a terminal illness away from someone that you love. People matter to us, guys. Our jobs matter to us. What we do in the community matters to us. If for some reason they are gone, have you deposited enough protection in your recovery bank that you can bounce back in your recovery? Is your foundation shored up, sturdy? Hey, it's important. I don't care how long we've been in recovery. I don't care when your house was built. We have to watch our foundation. We have to make sure we don't see cracks in our basement. We have to take care of this house, right? The house that I'm sitting in right now is pretty old. It was built back in the day where people really took pride in building. They weren't just throwing things up in a matter of 2 weeks. Back in the day, this house probably took, months and months and months to build, not 2 weeks, right? There's character around the house. There's extra stuff done around the foundation to ensure that in 100 years, it could possibly still be here. And I'm pretty sure it will be. However, we still, as a homeowner, still keep our eyes out on things that could lead into danger around our foundation. Without that sturdy foundation, this house would not be here. Without your sturdy foundation, recovery may not last. Recovery may not bring you the joy and the life that you had hoped for because it's not shored up, it's not sturdy. And hope is the foundation. It is the first of the pathways that we work on, because without hope, it doesn't much matter what the other ones are, right? Yeah. So let me know what you think about this. What do you do to protect your hope? Do you treat your hope do you lock it in a vault? Do you have bodyguards around your hope? We should. Those bodyguards, that lock, that alarm represents the work. Not literally are we hiring a bodyguard. No. But hey, what are we doing to make sure that our hope is secure? So I've got some ideas for you on this beautiful Wednesday before I get to Charlotte. Let me know what you think about it. I hope you hear something today from me or someone else that something will stick. Something will stick. Hope. But do you know what it's like to be hopeless? If you do, and you have you hold on to your hope with all you have, and you should, what are you doing to continuously do the work around your hope, right? Yeah. Stephanie says, one of my favorite proverbs, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Yeah. So hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Yeah. I love that, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Exactly. So when we were not living in hope, our heart, our souls, our steps reflected that, right? So I'm going to give you some things that could be helpful. Grab what you want. Hey, Sharon Ayers, good to see you on. You're not late. You're never late. You're never late. You're never late. You show up exactly when you're supposed to. So you don't worry about it, lady. We're talking about hope. The first pathway to recovery. Sharon, me and you've spent a lot of time together over the years, especially during the pandemic. I met so many of you during the pandemic because of the work PRN was doing in the community, through our warm line, through our virtual platform. And Sharon was a beautiful soul that came into my life. And I'll never forget the first time that I think I spent a couple of hours with you, Miss Sharon, on the phone during the pandemic to get to know you. And yeah, it was a beautiful walk we had that night, discovery of what we had in common, what we shared in our lived experience. I brought you hope, you brought me hope. Together we built in our hope bank, right? So as life happens and shows up, we can pull from this bank. So today I'm going to give you some things that you can put in your recovery bank to draw out when hope seems like it's fleeting from you, right? In recovery, we know that's our foundation. So we need to protect it. We need to honor it. We need to cherish it. We need to know that that without that foundation, that so many purposes and dreams and walks and things that were meant for us, that are for us, right, are going to be delayed or not be fulfilled in the way that it needs to be, right? So we know that it's important. Thank you, Miss Sharon. I appreciate that. That was a beautiful couple of hours that I spent with you. And, it was around recovery. That's what gave that saving grace. It wasn't me, that talk. You're absolutely right. The talk around recovery, around hope, right, is what we claim is our life preserver, is our saving thing, right? I don't save people. You don't save people. But what saves people is the message that is given to us, that we live out loud. We're recovery champions. Some of us maybe early on in recovery. Some of us been chopping away at it for some years now. But in recovery, we have that need to give out, to share, right? Because there's nothing worse than being hopeless, not being able to see the world as a place you want to be a part of, right? So let's talk a minute about some things we can do. Let me know what you think about it. And if you have things you do, Stephanie gave us a proverb. Yeah, think about. So I know that Stephanie has readings and things that she meditates on because she, as well as music, Stephanie has posted several examples of music or songs for us to kind of be about, right? So what do you do to protect your hope? So here's some ideas. Maybe you're like, I don't know. I come to Just for Today with Lisa Kaye, which is great. I'm glad you're here because you give me hope. I don't know if I give you hope, but you sure give me hope. So you keep coming. Even if you watch later. So many of you come on later and make comments that I see, and we have chats offline. We have chats all the time about Just for Today. I just sometimes have to go back and look at those. And that is hope. That is a way that we can add to that bank to shore up our hopefulness, is that we do go back and revisit things that have poured into us, right? Whether it's pictures, whether it's memories, whether it's Just for Today episodes like I do, where I go and I see the dialogue, that I know that the message was heard, right? By the comments. Absolutely. Here's one that I think is beautiful that I'm sure going to work harder in is get some hope holders. Well, last time I looked, you couldn't buy these on Amazon. Sorry. Can't pick these up at your local Walmart either. These are pretty easy to find though. Hope holders are people in your lives who hold on to your faith when you lose it. These could be family members, friends, peer support specialists that you are, confiding in. You've built a strong relationship. Those of you who tend to isolate, some of you know who you are. I'm one of those too. That may surprise you, but my recovery is in some things that will sit me down for a little bit, that isolate me, right? So for those of you who isolate, right? The good news is there are 12-step meetings on a huge wide range of topics, and we have open meetings. So you don't have to be a person struggling with addiction of alcohol or drugs. You can be a family member. A friend. There are open meetings, right? All over the place. Like you can go hit an open meeting, an open 12-step meeting every day of the week, several times a day, whether it's virtually or in person. Yeah. So those of you who like to isolate and not make connections with people as your hope holders, maybe you can find hope holders within the recovery rooms. If you live in a small community, or you live in a community like I do that really doesn't have a lot to offer with live 12-step meetings, there's the internet, those virtual things, right? Yeah. There's also meetings out there that you don't have to come on a camera, on a Zoom, but there's a call-in number. You can literally just call into the meeting, right? Some of us are not into that technology, that we're not going to be on a Zoom. We don't have all of that, or we don't care to dive into that, but we have a phone. So those numbers can be shared, and you can actually call into these meetings and just listen, right? Just listen and allow it to pour into you. Like I said, hope holders are easy to find, but it's got to be purposeful. So I challenge you this morning. Think for a moment. Who is your hope holder? What group is your hope holder? If all of a sudden you found out, good morning, Deidre, you found out that life changes, your life just went in a whole different direction, right? And you were starting to be hopeless. Who are your hope holders? Where are you going to find your hope, right? Think about it. I thought long and hard about it last night, and I struggled a little bit. I have certain pieces of my life that I've shared. There's only like one person that really knows, that I feel like knows most everything, right? Is that person always available to me? No, not always, right? So who, what, where is your hope holder? Stephanie says her daughter is one of her hope holders. That's beautiful, Stephanie. That is beautiful. And I hope that if she's on, she hears it. And if she doesn't know that, I know you tell her, Stephanie. Whoever your hope holder is, let them know that they are. When you're in a good space, that's a good time to talk to the very people that you know could be helpful to you when you're struggling and you need a hope holder. You need someone to sweep in and remind you about the work you've done. Remind you, right, that they're there for you, that you're not alone, right? So just for today, who is your hope holder? Who is that person? Who is that person, right? All right. Okay, so the next thing is find a spiritual protector. While you were joining, when you joined a 12-step meeting, you heard about the higher power, something greater than yourself. So what does spirituality mean to you? In my recovery of codependency, as well as PTSD and trauma, and being on that family side of addiction, I ultimately realized that I couldn't do it alone. I needed not only those hope holders, as well as some professional help along the way, but I also needed my higher power, which I personally choose to call God. Yeah, and we can do that. But I honor your higher power. So it may not be, you may not identify with God, right, as your higher power. You may have another way to identify your higher power. And I honor that. I do. And on this, just for today, we honor that because we all come from different backgrounds, and We just honor each other. We're just glad people are here and are in recovery and have found that way, that hope. So yeah, I pray. I prayed each day to remind myself that I was in the arms of my loving God, right? I was encouraged to get in my room, my recovery rooms, I was encouraged to get something symbolic, a piece of clothes, a blanket, or something in order to remind myself of being in that protective presence. Today, I still cover myself with this same blanket when I experience some things that I need those loving arms around me. Yeah. Right now, I'm walking with my precious mother. She, got the big C diagnosis. Well, she's doing very well, by the way. Started chemo. Today will be her third treatment. So she's doing very well. She's such a beautiful soul. Beautiful soul. I wish you could know my mama. Well, if you get a glimpse of me, you've seen my mama, her spirit. Yeah. One day I have had her on just for today. It was a long time ago. But I'll bring her back on later on when she's feeling better, and let her give us some words of wisdom about life, right? But yeah, I'm really needing my blanket these days because I'm over here supporting my mom. I do have my moments of feeling very alone, right? Walking this alone, going to bed alone, right? Not having a hug at night to say, Lisa, it's going to be okay, right? Not having that physical touch. Yeah, that's tough. That's very tough. And not seeing a lot of hope to even get that, right? So that blanket, right, represents. I'm always got this blanket on me, and so many people who see it say, Lisa, you realize it's 102 outside. But inside, when I'm chill and relaxed and feeling very vulnerable and needing that protective covering, I go back to that blanket. I literally can physically, in my brain, see this blanket also be the arms wrapped around the loved ones that I know are struggling with their wellness, right? So yeah, finding that symbolic thing to represent the loving arms, the strength, right, of your higher power. Yeah. Let's see what you got to say. The natural patterns and rhythms of nature are fantastic spiritual guide for me. I'm so glad you said that because that was the next one, Stephanie. Yeah, get out, get your butt out in nature. I was raised in the country, so I spent most of my life barefoot. In fact, can't stand to have shoes on today. When it is beautiful outside, guess what? I'm gardening. I am doing all kind of stuff every weekend. Most of the time I'm barefooted. I love to feel my feet in the grass. Yeah, there are things out there in that yard that poke me. Little pebbles, rocks. Those little burr looking things that fall off those sweet gum trees. Yeah, that stick to your feet. And you think you're going to oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, there's stuff out there that can hurt my feet. It's risky. But guess what? Recovery. It makes us risk, right? That dignity of risk. We talked about that yesterday in our training. Taking a risk to step out there in the yard and put my feet in the grass. To me, it's so worth it. To walk around in nature, to put rocks in my pocket. Yeah. Maybe you're a beach walker, getting out there on the beach in the ocean, collecting little shells, putting them in your pocket, right? Being able to come back from your walk and seeing the shells. It's beautiful, right? But getting in touch with nature is spiritual. Being grounded in nature has always helped me to hold on to hope. Being in my recovery gardens, being on my knees in my garden, right, with flip-flops on, sweating, sun beating down on me, pulling the weeds, talking to my flowers that were discarded, that nobody else wanted, but I saw hope, right? And I get in there and I talk to them and I say, baby, you ain't looking too good today, but there's hope. You got this. I'm going to love you. I'm going to be here with you, watering weeding. I'm going to spray the bugs off of you, right? Taking that time. The flowers, nature responds to our recovery. The love that we pour out to each other, we also put out in the universe. We put out in nature, whether it's through your gardening, whether it's to the universe, maybe it's to the birds. I don't know what that is for you, but I know in my nature, in my hope, pouring into my hope bank, that nature is very important to me. Very important to me. Whew, yeah. Think about what you're recovering to. Think about that for a second while I check in with everybody. Think about what you are recovering to, not from. Going from the illness to the wellness. Yeah, that's next level recovery. When your narrative says, stop saying, or starts adding to, not stop, because that is part of our story, saying I am recovering from. So we can relate that it is a process. We're still working on it. It's a lifelong process. But the other part of that is I'm recovering too. So what do you think about? What do you think that you are recovering to? What do you think recovery is going to bring you? Do you understand it? Are you moving towards family, friends, career, home, your passion, a pet, a car, a house? What are you recovering to? We can get lost in our struggle to get better, that we forget why we are doing all of the hard work in the first place. We're recovering from our illness in order to recover our lives. So it's shifting our narrative from the illness language to the recovery language. We can spend way too much time talking about the illness, right? And not enough time talking about the hope. What are we going after? Yeah, I hear your war stories. I hear your war stories. And man, you have recovered. But I want to hear too, and this is next level, what are you recovering to? It's not to save people. No, we can't save anybody. All we can do is live it out loud. It's attraction, right? We don't promote it. I'm not your savior. Just for today's not your savior, right? You are. But what we do is we live it out loud. So what are you recovering to, right? What are you building personally that you have a strong foundation of hope? If you haven't thought about that, that's something else you can add to your recovery bank about building your hope. Let's see who's out there. Ooh, it's after 7:00. We got to get through this, guys. Yes. Christopher's in the house. Good morning, Badass Incorporated. Sharon says it's easier to be close to nature when you're barefooted. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad that there's someone else in the house that understands that barefoot, that feeling of nature right on our skin, or to lay, in flowers or grass or meadows, whatever that is for you, to be able to lay out there, right? And just look up and feel it, right? It's wonderful. So what are you recovering to, right? Next thing is recover for someone else. That can also be something you can add to your hope. Often in some of my hopeless moments that I can still have, I will revert back of why I kept fighting. And that was imagining the faces of my children. I thought about them getting older. My recovery started years ago. Some of you weren't even born yet. But I started really wanting to fight because I wanted to see my children grow. I want to see them have families, achieve, right? To be happy, to find that significant person or passion, groups of people that brought them joy, right? I gain motivation to stay in recovery process, sometimes by thinking of them. After that, it was up to me to figure it out, a way to make my recovery about me. Joe brought me to the rooms of recovery, but Joe is not why I stayed. No, I thought that's why I was going. They were going to tell me how to fix Joe, how to save Joe. But no, Joe wasn't part of the equation. Joe was just a reason that I opened my eyes to this group of amazing individuals, right? I was there about me, and I was there about my own recovery, right? What I mean is, to maintain recovery gains, I need to get better for myself, and ultimately I did. It was a process. I was not a very pretty first timer. I came in with a chip on my shoulder. I came in wanting answers, and damn it, I want those answers now. Time is a ticking, right? My child is, right? My person is, and y'all need to tell me what to do. Yeah, it took me a little bit, but thank goodness those folks had patience. Those folks saw themselves in me, just like many of you have talked to me about seeing yourself early on, right? In other people that now you support in those rooms or as a peer support specialist. Good morning. I'm seeing a name up here that I have not seen in quite some time, Mr. Dan Hackmeyer. That's my old running buddy right there back in the day at PRN. Hey there, Lisa. We were in Charlotte in April. Stopped by PRN. Sorry we didn't see you. Yeah, had a lot going on in April. Not sure what it was, but I missed you too. Hopefully you will be back this way. Hope you will be back this way. Yeah. All right. Remember, a moment of freedom is another way to shore up your recovery, to treat it like it's a special jewel in your life. When I was hopeless, I would reread parts of my journals that talked about memories, freedom. For me, those memories were around my granddaughter, right? My granddaughter, Zoe, and seeing her being crowned as queen in a gymnastic competition. We did a lot of fundraising together, just me and her fundraising so she'd go to the national championship. We did that together. I took her to the national championship in Florida. She ranked second in the nation. I was one proud Lily. Those moments, nobody can take from me. Nobody. I've got pictures. I got videos of every competition she has ever been in that will help me guard my hope. It will put me in a place of remembering that life is worth living, because in that moment of time, you couldn't touch me. Because nothing, absolutely nothing was wrong in those moments in time with my granddaughter. Even if she didn't win the competitions, she didn't win them all. Most of them. I'm just playing. But yeah, that's a proud moment. Yeah, to see such wisdom and desire in such a little being, right? Yeah. That those matter. And those videos, those pictures, those memories, I might not remember my name in the next 20 years, but I guarantee you, those are memories that I'll be able to speak clearly about, because I visit those memories quite often. Yeah. Remember a moment of freedom. So, go print some photos. Hey, here's a concept. Let's go back to, let's start us an actual photo album. They do still sell them. Instead of just flipping through our phone. There's something about sitting down with an album for me. Yeah. Write a sentence or two about a few of those moments in your journal or in your photo album. that can bring back that memory very vividly. These moments can eventually string together to be your life. These moments, right? Take care of you. Of course, hope is impossible to maintain if you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Listen to those you 12 steppers who go out there. You know that acronym HALT. Never let yourself get too hungry, too angry, too lonely, or too tired, right? For me, once I let myself go to either of these directions too far, my hope meter would also drop a little low, right? Of course, I know this is hard, especially when many of our illnesses fight this very thing. We do the best we can, right? We do the best we can. Yes, this is a lot. Recovery is a lot. And I know you have heard this a lot, but all of it is worth it. Truly is. Maybe you're hopeless right now. Maybe like me, you're thinking, I can't do this anymore, right? I've had that thought many times in my life over things. I just can't do this anymore. There's no more hope around this. What would your hope holders say? Will you walk barefoot in the grass today? Will you stick a rock in your pocket? Will you wrap up in your comfort blanket, representing the arms of your higher power? You gonna go to a meeting today? Can you join us today at 12:30 for Next Level Recovery Group? Zoom, 12:30. Can you do that? Yeah. Here's some ideas, guys, that we presented today that can help protect our hope. If hope is that important that we talk about it, and it's actually the first pathway to recovery, what are we doing to protect it? What are we doing? Are we consciously, intentionally putting things into place? I love the idea of a hope holder. Yeah. If that's the only thing you draw from today is trying to figure out who your hope holders are, do that today before you go to bed. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You don't even know what the next hour is going to bring, right? Have your hope holders just for today. I hope you'll consider some of these to add to your recovery bank. These are pretty serious things. If hope is really our foundation of our recovery, we shouldn't be playing around with it. When we see that crack in our foundations of our homes, we start seeing our basements flood. We start seeing things around that foundation, termites, whatever that is. We don't just sit back and go, well, I hope it works itself out. We've spent a lot of money on that house. We spent a lot of time, a lot of effort. Well, we're not about to throw that away. It's an investment in our financial well-being. Where does your well-beings rank, right? Yeah, having hope needs to be our top priority about how do we keep it? How do we maintain it? How do we keep it strong? How do we keep building it? Yeah, just for today. All right, let me see what you got to say about that. And we are going to head out because I got a million things to do at PRN today. And I can't wait. Oh, Deidre, girl, it changes for me when I am recovering too. That's okay. It was initially for my kids. Yep. I think because I had lost so many years with them. Then with some real work and some reflection, I realized I deserved it. I was worth it. Then I think it was for my mom. I wanted her sober. Then back to me because I became extremely codependent and relapsed. Yeah. Fluctuates. Think on a wheel that I now know has intuitions, always has you on go directly, because to me, this only happens if it's for me. Absolutely. It does fluctuate. It does. But we got to have a plan. Just for today, what's your plan? Stephanie says, when there is no hope, make a change. It simply means that your perspective is limited. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at changes. Yeah. And that's what that hope holder can do for you. If you have someone in your life or certain meetings, yeah, it's what it can do for you just for today. Thank you guys for coming home on with me this morning. I hope you will share this on your social media. I hope today that you will, if you can join us for our next level recovery, I am going to put that up in the chats and very quickly. And I forgot to do that. And here it is. But there you go. I think. Yeah. There you go. So that is our link for Next Level Recovery Day at 12:30. Hope you'll join us. Come on in. We're going to have a little chat today about some things, and I hope that you will join us. You're more than welcome to share this Zoom link and password to anybody you want to. We welcome all to come. We just ask for people to come with open minds, open hearts, ready to give and ready to receive. Okay. So I will hopefully see a lot of you at 12:30 this afternoon. If I don't, I'll see you Friday for Just for Today. Guys, I love you. Have a beautiful Wednesday. Consider how precious is your hope and what are you doing to protect it and to preserve it and to hold it close, to guard it like it is the most precious jewel in the world to you, right? I'm going to also be thinking about who my hope holders are today. That's a new, not a new area, but an area I haven't visited in a while. So I need to work on that. But guys, I love you. Roberta, I hope that, okay. I hope you can get on there too, Roberta, because we will definitely miss seeing your face. If you can join us today at 12:30, come on. Just for today, I love you guys. Have a safe trip to work, school, whatever you're doing, make a difference, and hold your hope close to your heart, because without it, all the other steps don't really mean a whole lot, right? And what are you recovering to today? Not what you're recovering from today, but what are you moving towards? What is your passion? What is it that makes life worth living to you? Go after it. Go do it today, because today's the only God, right? I love you guys. We'll see you this afternoon at 12:30 or Friday for Just for a Day. Love you guys. Bye.